Sports Titan Game Day Live, the halftime show live from Mill Creek Brewing Company in Nolensville, live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. A to Z Sports, Austin Stanley, Zach Bingham here. Titans up 24-13 on the Jags in that first half, but several things to clean up in the second half, and it's been an ugly game so far for the most part, and that's 7 points from the Kevin Byard fumble recovery really helping out the Titans getting out of the gates. Before we dive into this halftime show, got to thank our sponsors real quick. Mill Creek Brewing Company, every away game broadcast right here for the pregame, halftime, postgame show, Mill Creek Brewing Co. in Nolensville. Also, Nashville Power Sports, NashvillePowersports.com for your custom golf carts, and BetMGM, the king of sports books. BetMGM, use that code ATOZ Sports, risk-free bet up to $1,000 with your first deposit and your first bet. Man, Zach, I mean, the first half started off great. It was like the best start the Titans have ever had this season with that fumble recovery for Byard. But then Trevor Lawrence has put together a couple drives. The Titans defense looks leaky. At times, the Titans offense doesn't look in sync. But a nice touchdown drive and a field goal there at the end of the half had the Titans up 11. Your initial reaction?
Well, my initial reaction is I will take a victory lap on the James Robinson prediction because he already has over 100 yards rushing, and he has been the key factor to keep the Jags in this football game. Now, the positive for the Titans, though, we talked about this comparing last week's performance against the New York Jets. First half, they couldn't score touchdowns in New York. They have been able to score touchdowns in Jacksonville. They got 3 of them, including that defensive touchdown at the beginning of the game that you referenced.
Yep.
And that has been the difference of their lead right now. And you look at it, 24-13, they're playing well. They're taking advantage of a lesser opponent against Jacksonville, but they have to continue to extend this lead in the third quarter and really hit it home in the fourth. It's not the best performance I've ever seen by the Titans, but I think they're hitting their spots, especially without Julio Jones. They got to get better in coverage. They can't have Harold Landry on goal line coverage.
No.
And so some things that they need to tweak. But overall, as I see in the comments, they're covering so far.
Yes, they are, which is good. I don't know what the first half line was, probably about 2.5 or so.
And they have a 2-possession lead.
They do. And it's weird that they do have a 2-possession lead, and the Titans do get the football to start the third quarter, which are all great things because they can easily go down there and make that 2 possessions, 3 possessions to start the third quarter if they get a touchdown. But I found myself tweeting in that first half, what are the Titans good at right now? Because I don't think there are many good things they're doing at that point because they could not stop James Robinson on the ground. They had trouble again protecting Ryan Tannehill in the pass game. Derrick Henry has not been that effective overall. He's got 11 carries for 31 yards. That's a 2.8 yards per carry average, and he had to work for that one touchdown. But again, the Titans are getting enough done. Trevor Lawrence, it doesn't look like Trevor Lawrence is going to get his first win today. Now, that could change, but I still see several things that have me, like, banging my head against the wall that this Titans team is doing, like pre-snap penalties, just Rashaan Evans guessing in the run game on gap defense that allowed James Robinson to have that 58-yard run. But overall, like their best players are playing good enough. Ryan Tannehill's having a nice day. Only sacked once. That's a good positive, too. And you see role players in the passing game stepping up.
They have to.
Yes, Michael Pruitt having a great year. Touchdown catch today. Marcus Johnson having a nice debut. Chester Rogers, Josh Reynolds with a first down conversion. Third down, Jeremy McNichols with a nice third down as well as A.J. Brown is easing his way back into the offense.
Yeah, I will say this on the positive side for the Titans defense. You talked through the Titans offense. One stat I do look at, the Jags are 2 for 6 on third down. So that is attributed to the Titans defense forcing Jacksonville and killing some drives. They had that one big play by James Robinson, as we know, that set up their score. But overall, they've been able to kind of put some pressure on Jacksonville on third down to then move to fourth and get the ball back. So it's not a great performance, but against a lesser opponent, I think they're taking care of business, as we referenced, so far.
And the Titans have gotten a few breaks, right? And there's a comment right there. Justin says the Titans are very fortunate right now. I think they're pretty fortunate, too, because that Byard fumble return for a touchdown could have easily been an incomplete pass.
But it's a great play.
No, again, I'm not saying, but I'm going to.
You're kind of pessimistic where I was optimistic.
Because I thought it was the right move for the refs to call it a fumble on the field so you can't go back and change it. But it could have, depending on who that official was, I think could have called it either way. I think they were very fortunate to get a pass interference that was kind of ticky-tacky on the Jags that got the Titans a third down conversion.
Yes.
On a drive they scored a touchdown on later on. So there was another fortunate play. And then Jacksonville missed a 52-yard field goal, doinked it off the crossbar. They're fortunate there. So I agree with people who are saying the Titans are fortunate. But, again, it's time the Titans are getting some of these breaks because typically they do not get the fortunate breaks.
Yeah, and so they have to learn how to wrangle James Robinson in the run game. He's already has 12 carries in the first half. It looks a lot like the game plan last week on Thursday Night Football. 110 yards, and he also has that 58-yard scamper. I think if they force, and as they extend this lead, and that's what they need to do in the third quarter, as they extend this lead, they put Trevor Lawrence in all passing downs. That's when rookie quarterbacks make mistakes. That's when interceptions are thrown because there's more opportunity to make that mistake.
No doubt. And so you started to see Harold Landry getting a sack there at the end of the half. Trevor Lawrence, I think, is playing pretty well. I thought the Jags coaching staff has done a pretty decent job of allowing him to stay comfortable. The touchdown pass that he threw to Hollister over Harold Landry was a great play call because they immediately got a mismatch. I think they recognized that mismatch pre-snap and were able to deliver that for a touchdown. So
before we get to our confidence level, I do want to bring up Lewis's comment right here as we stream live here from Mill Creek Brewing. This is our halftime show. Lewis brings up Jeffrey Simmons, a wrecking ball up the gut. You have seen and felt his presence in this game. It may not be in the sack category, but he is making Trevor Lawrence retreat. And when you have him do that, he has tougher throws, possibility of mistakes. So I do want to recognize that was a good point by Lewis. Jeffrey Simmons is making it difficult for this Jags offense.
Yes. And he forced a hold too.
All right. Well, because you got to hold Jeffrey Simmons sometimes so he doesn't break the line to get into the backfield.
Yes. Mo says the Titans are a second half team. I mean, I would think the Titans are a second half team. They have been in the past. I don't know if they are right now. They were in Seattle. They were not last week against the Jets. So how about this? Excuse me. TJ says he's happy to see Downing calling a wide range of play types. Hopefully he's learning now to be more unpredictable. What do you think about the one touchdown drive? A lot of trickeration, right? Yeah, a direct snap to Cam Batson, the reverse fake to Chester Rogers, and some other nice plays. I like the one to Josh Reynolds moving in motion to get him out to the outside, open it for a first down too. Like, you're seeing some of that, but I also say, like, well, you having to use that in the first half against the Jags, not a great thing either.
Yeah, well, look, Tom Downing is going to have to get into his comfort zone, right? I mean, he hasn't called plays in a long, long time prior to this season. So he's a quarter of the way in. You're in game number 5. And I agree with that comment. He's not relying on Derrick Henry like it's his last lifeline on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, right? Like that's what he's Julio Jones going down, right? He's had to work harder and scheme a little bit better because you can't just rely on Derrick Henry, for 30 carries a game. We talked about it last week of how many average carries he was projected to get the rest of the season. You got to save your horse.
You need to be able to win some games without Derrick Henry touching the ball 35 times.
And right now he's only on pace for 22.
Yeah, it's 11. That's good. That's good. See if the Titans can win this game with Derrick Henry not having to rack up a bunch of stats in a good way, right? Now, if he comes out and he gets a big touchdown on this opening drive and that changes things, if the Titans can score in the opening drive and then stop the Jags the next drive, and it's 31-13, I would like to see Henry on the sideline. That's just what I'm going to say there. Let's go ahead and ask this question. What's your confidence level in the Titans winning this game against the Jags, up 24-13 at halftime. What's your confidence level in the Titans winning this game? Up 11 at half on the Jags. But real quick, let me tell you guys about one of our great sponsors here for Titan Game Day Live from Mill Creek Brewing, and that is Nashville Power Sports. There's a golf cart, souped-up golf cart over there in the corner here at Mill Creek Brew Co. That's because it's from NashvillePowersports.com. If you are looking for a custom golf cart, they got you. They can customize and build anything for you, and they have the carts in stock, so it's a nice turnaround, locally owned and operated company because they care about their customer service and their product. They can customize anything for your golf cart, 2-seater, 4-seater, 6-seater, street legal. They got it all. NashvillePowersports.com.
Confidence level 1 through 10. I do want to give a shout out because I just had a cheeseburger that I woke up thinking about. Delicious right here at Mill Creek Brewing. We'll be here live for all of the Titans away games. So shout out to the food truck. That's some dynamic food.
Yes, and my order is coming right after we end this halftime show.
Right.
All
Let's go confidence level. We got a lot of 8s, 9.5, 7.2s, 8.2s, 9s, 8s, and 7s. That makes a lot of sense with the Titans being up by 11 points, 24-13. They're playing well, but there's still some meat left on the bone, right?
Yeah.
You can still take advantage of solidifying a win in the third quarter and really pushing the Jags into a corner and changing their offensive game plan because they're playing from behind. Austin, what is your confidence level that the Tennessee Titans will move on to 3-2 at the conclusion of today's game?
8.5. 8.5. 8.5 out of 10. I think the Titans win this game. I think they score over 30 points today, and that's a good thing. You want to see them be able to rack up some points because they've been hard to come by at times. That's what I'm going to go with. 8.5 out of 10.
I like that. I'm going to push it up a little bit more. I'm going to go 9. The Titans are up by 11 points. They're scoring touchdowns. They've proven that they can drive against this Jacksonville defense that's not very good. I think they're going to win this football game. Mike Vrabel needs to take care of business, get out of Duval with a W.
Score a touchdown here out of the gates, win the game. We'll see you guys at postgame right here. Thanks.